Hello everyone, this is LEGO Toby, and today I will be doing a LEGO set review on the LEGO Bionicle Gen 2 Mask Maker vs. Skull Grinder. The set number for this LEGO set is 70795. This set contains 171 pieces, and because this was a construction figure set released back in 2015, there are no minifigs, and again, this set was released back in summer of 2015, and originally retailed for $30 in the United States. So, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this LEGO set. So the first thing I want to take a look at, moving these two builds aside... Oh, wait, hold on. So, before I get into any more of the LEGO set review itself, as of recording this video, today is actually the October just started. So, October is Halloween month, therefore, yeah, every LEGO set review I'm going to do this month is indeed going to have something creepy about it, or just straight up be spooky in general. So, yeah, and the first LEGO set I decided to review for this month is indeed Mask Maker vs. Skull Grinder. Again, and yeah, and well, the main reason why I chose this is because, well, there's a skeleton, and for some reason skeletons are creepy. Well, okay, yeah, they can be creepy. It depends. However, the first build I want to take a look at here, or the first piece, might I add, is the Mask of Creation itself. And I gotta say, this was the collectible for the year 2015, and it is so good for what it is, in my opinion. It really is. Like, I love how they just, like, molded on, like, the ancient language that these characters, like, speak in. Like, on the horns and on the mask itself. It's just so cool looking, in my opinion. It really is. And of course, we have the back area as well, which has a couple of these things. Yeah, I can't really attach to any Lego bricks, unfortunately. If anything, it can only attach to one Lego piece, really. And that is this piece right here, which, again, was introduced in the 2015 year of Bionicle. And if you, unfortunately do not own any of the Bionicle Gen 2 sets and don't know how this works, which chances are you don't know how this works and don't own any Bionicle Gen 2 sets, because the theme kind of failed back in 2015, unfortunately. So you pretty much just put the mask on right here like this, and there's actually a lever on the back here that you can press and just flings the mask off. And it's kind of a cool play feature in my opinion. But yeah, and it's very reminiscent of like the ability to knock off mask pieces off the Rahi from back when Bionicle Gen 1 first started. However, though, there are a couple flaws to it. Well, at least one notable flaw. And that is the fact that the masks can get a lot more knocked off a lot easier than your typical helmet piece, or even many of the masks from Bionicle Gen 1. And also, they can get lost a lot easier. But thankfully, though, in the case of the Mask of Creation, I haven't lost this piece, especially because I highly doubt this piece goes for cheap in the secondhand market. I'm pretty sure this piece goes for probably how much this set originally retailed for nowadays. So yeah, really cool piece indeed, and just had to note about the mask pieces for Bionicle Gen 2. And as for the Mask of Creation itself, it actually attaches to another build, which is this thing, which holds the mask. And I gotta say, like, this build is really, really awful. Oops. Really, really awful in my opinion. Like, it doesn't have any interesting or unique pieces, and not only that, but, like, also, it does a horrible job of displaying the mask. Like, it's supposed to, like, go in like this, but yet, and instead of, like, it looking like this, as it should, it instead just falls down like this, like, as if it's just looking down. Like, that is really lame in my opinion, and honestly, this build right here in general is easily the worst part about this set in my opinion. And, like, they don't even, like, show this build on, like, the box or anything like that, so, like, yeah, it is lame. Like, not even LEGO was interested in showing off this build. Like, seriously, they really weren't. But now we have to talk about the mask maker himself, aka Ikimu, the mask maker, which is, it is honestly really questionable in my opinion how on earth LEGO did not, like, go ahead and decide to name the characters. Like, this is Ikimu the mask maker, and that over there is Cult to the Skull Grinder, but we'll get into him later. Yeah, it's kind of lame in my opinion that they just called them by Mask Maker and Skull Grinder, especially because, like, the Masters were the only real characters from the first year that were really given names. But aside from that, yeah, here's what he looks like from the front, and here is what he looks like from the back. You may notice he has a gearbox on the back, and that is because it's actually linked to a play feature where you can actually just turn the knob on the back and he pretty much can like use his hammer, and that's a really cool play feature in my opinion. I really like that. And also, I just love the transparent blue and gold color scheme as well. I think it works so well. And also, something to note, he did initially have his mask piece at one point, which is just a typical protector mask piece in case you're wondering. But unfortunately, I'm missing it. And also, I tried to find another protector mask piece, since I did get quite a bit of protector sets back when Bionicle Gen 2 was a thing. But unfortunately, and surprisingly, I couldn't find anything that could, like, replace this horrible face. So, yeah, unfortunately, I'll have to deal with this for now. But, yeah, really cool build overall. And I want to talk about his hammer first because it's a really cool build. Not only does it look good, especially with the transparent blue color scheme, but it also has one of the most genius ways that LEGO has ever integrated a rapid stud shooter. Yeah, that's right. This thing in the front here is a rapid stud shooter, alright. Which I'm just going to only just try and shoot one stud if you somehow don't own any of these or are curious how it works. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. And just for safety measures, I'm not going to shoot anymore because I do not like losing all the studs. I like having my LEGO sets complete and all that. And honestly, just for this review, I tried to make this set about as complete as I possibly could before making this LEGO set review. So, yeah, but more on that when I talk about the set itself. And we also get this really generic razor saw build that has a kind of a cool detailed piece on the front of it and is a little bent, unfortunately, as you can tell. But I don't think this is the first LEGO set this piece originated in. I think it would probably have to be like the wheels and the carriage build from the Cinderella Disney Princess carriage set. But on the back here, there's just a gear or knob piece that you can spin, and it just spins a razor saw build around. Nothing that wild or interesting or anything like that. And yeah, and overall, it's a pretty cool build. And of course, you have the Mask of Creation. You can just put him on Ikimu or Mask Maker's face, and he looks a lot better like this. And it's actually normal for me to see him like this because I'm missing his original protector-like mask piece. Like I actually decided to put this piece on his mask, but unfortunately, though, it is hard to like press the lever because like the gearbox is like so high. So yeah, but you can always just remove it like this as well. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Ikimu, or aka the Mask Maker, if you want to get specific with Bionicle Generation 2 terms like I do, because I'm probably the only person in the world who even cares for Bionicle Gen 2. But then we have the real reason why I decided to review this set for October, Skull Grinder himself. And I gotta say, he looks intimidating, and he's actually a pretty good build for what he is. And of course, like, he is really tall. But here is what he looks like from the front, and here is what he looks like from the back. And yeah, it's a pretty cool build, and once again, he has a gearbox on the back, except it's instead of like, but unlike Mask Maker, where the gearbox is only for one arm, unfortunately. Therefore, or in other words, like, you can only, for Mask Maker, like, it's only for one arm. For Skull Grinder, it's actually both arms. And let's see if I can try to do this without knocking down the background or the base plates. Yeah, it looks pretty much like that. And yeah, it's pretty cool for what it is. And yeah, and it's pretty cool whenever LEGO decides to do that. And overall, it's a pretty cool build in general. The amount of transparent neon orange is always welcome to represent like the evil and villainous of Skull Grinder himself. And again, his helmet piece or mask pieces works. The horns are actually really cool pieces as well. Even though they're common pieces nowadays, they're still pretty cool for what they are. And of course, he has a transparent neon orange version of I guess the brain piece that again is like a lever, so you can always shoot. Okay, that was kind of weak that time. You can always like shoot his mask off like this. Okay, yeah, it's not wanting to do it though. Much better, so much better. I'm just going to do it one more time. Yeah, there we go. And it fell to the floor. Okay, yeah, it took me a second to try and find it. And yeah, pretty cool build. And even though he is a bit of an intimidating build overall, unfortunately, as much as I hate to admit it, though, it's not the most unique build, I'd say. And if anything, he is pretty tall for what he is. And even though he only uses a normal-sized torso piece, and the reason that being is because, like, just look at that. Like, LEGO literally decided to, like, place the main chest plate bone armor piece on, like, the top of the normal-sized torso piece, making him a bit more taller than than the set actually seems, which is kind of cool, but it does leave a bit of a gap over here. But then again, on the back here as well, there's also an armor piece there, which is pretty nice. Overall, this is and aside from that, yeah, it's a pretty complete model, and I really like it. And also, there are, of course, last but certainly not least, his weapons. Which, the first weapon I should talk about here is this pretty, lame sword build, which is, it's not even a build, it's just a single Lego piece that is really common throughout the Bionicle Gen 2 skeleton sets from the summer of 2015 as well. There's just nothing interesting to be said there. However, though, his other weapon, this is intimidating, like straight up intimidating. Like, just look at this thing. Oh my gosh. Like, this is a really intimidating weapon. Aside from it being huge and intimidating, like, let me just grab my mask maker build real quick and just, like, place him here with his mask on and everything. Check out what Skull Grinder can do with this. Yeah, pretty much removes the mask and didn't do it that well that time, unfortunately. But the point is that the basic idea is that this thing should rip off masks and look like that. And it's heavily used on a lot of the advertising for this Lego set as well. And yeah, whoops, the mask fell off. And yeah, it's a cool play feature, but I think it's worked a lot better in the past, I'd say. Or, like, I don't know. But it still works fine. It's not the worst done play feature, I'd say. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this set itself as of right now and all the physical Lego stuff. And also I'm just going to keep the mask piece on Mask Maker for the rest of the video in case you're wondering, because, again, this build is not great at all. But, yeah, overall, how do I think of this Lego set? Well, I think this is a pretty good and underrated Lego set. Even though Bionicle Gen 2's lore is really awful in my opinion, I do think many of the Lego Bionicle Gen 2 sets themselves are really underrated, if I had to be honest. Because, like, I mean, they're still really cool, and especially the summer 2015 Bionicle Gen 2 sets that are skeletons. Lego really got creative with this wave, and this is honestly my favorite Bionicle set that I currently own as of right now. And even though I do own a few sets from the first generation, I mean, most notably Motunui, unfortunately, though, I don't own the best sets from the first generation, which is why this is honestly a Lego set I personally like a lot more. And yeah, it's a really good set for what it is, in my opinion. You get the Mask of Creation, a pretty good conflict in a box set, with a smaller hero fighting against a larger, more intimidating villain. And overall, both builds were turned out to be pretty good and well done for what they are, in my opinion. They really did, honestly. And overall, yeah, it's just a great set in general, and again, pretty underrated for what it is. Though the play features may be a little generic, they're still pretty well executed for what they are, or if not decently executed at worst, if you ask me. Unless you, again, count this little pathetic build, but we don't talk about that. We really don't. So, yeah, overall, as far as, like, builds go, yeah, both builds are great and mostly complete and overall, again, pretty compelling builds for what they are. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give this set a 3-star rating. It's one I personally would recommend, and if you have the money to somehow afford this set in the secondhand market, because this set goes for, like, well over $100 in the secondhand market, then I would recommend it personally, especially come the Halloween season, because the Skull Grinder build definitely looks really scary and intimidating for what he is overall. And this has just been a really interesting LEGO set review overall, because this is one I've been really looking forward to, because this is a pretty good LEGO set from my childhood as well, and one I did not think I would have enough pieces to review. Thankfully, though, I did manage to find the bare minimum to review this set for, and yeah, and it also explains why I do not have the instructions and obviously not the box for this set anymore, but still a really great one. And yeah, this is LEGO Toby. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.